Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for April 23rd, 2019. Today we're taking a look at the AUDUSD, the Australian versus the US dollar. For today's trade analysis, looking here at the daily time frame, a couple of things to talk about here on this chart. First off, let's just look at the two moving averages. The 200 period moving average, which has provided a clue to resistance over the past several months. Not quite all the way there at the top left-hand corner of the chart back in November, December, not quite all the way there, but very close, and falling back down, came back up, touched the 200 period moving average here in the middle of the chart, and fell back down in recent days, touching the 200 period moving average and falling back down. The green line, 100 period moving average, simple moving average here on the daily time frame. We've seen the market both above and below, but what's interesting today is, in the past week and a half, we've seen the market bouncing around between the 200 and 100 period moving average, and today we're challenging underneath it. The question is, will it get underneath and stay underneath, or is this just a false break, a false push before suddenly turning around and going back higher? So just a couple of interesting things there about the two moving averages on the chart. Now let's zoom in a little bit. You can see the blue trend line here on the chart, and you can see that for the most part in the past several weeks, going back to the beginning of March, this currency pair has been in somewhat of an uptrend. It has been a rocky road for sure, but it has been somewhat of an uptrend. It started the rise all the way down here into the 7,000 area, came back up, went into a period of ranging and congestion, dipped back down into the green zone, finally got a little bit of motivation, and went all the way up here into the 7,200 level, falling back down, now challenging back down here towards the blue trend line. Blue shaded area, 7105, 0.7120, the blue shaded area historically, and I think probably the most interesting area is this price action around this area right here, where it found quite a bit of resistance into that area before eventually breaking out, finding support above there and going higher. So we know that historical resistance can offer a clue to future support. So that blue shaded area is very interesting. Of course, 7100 price handle also a very interesting price handle right around the blue trend line, the blue shaded area, historical support and resistance. Let's take Fibonacci just for kicks here. From the low all the way down to the bottom of the blue trend line to the current resistance high. And in doing that, we find the halfway point, 50% retracement level of that trend, basically low to high, here at 7105, which is right there at that bottom of that blue zone. 618 a little bit lower. So let's talk about the blue zone as support today. The yellow zone, 618, would be your next barrier of support. 382, just a little bit above there, 7128, 236, a little bit higher into the orange shaded area. So some interesting aspects there with that fib. Let's take another fib just for kicks. Let's do the one right here in the middle to the resistance high, and then doing that, interesting enough, 618, 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, 7111, by the way, that's right here in our blue shaded area. So we find the 618 of the shorter range, the blue trend line, historical resistance, all lining up here into the blue shaded area. So there's a good chance right now that we expect support here. Support would send it back potentially to the orange zone or higher. A break of that support would likely see it head down here to the yellow or possibly even the green shaded area. So we're at a very interesting juncture here for the Australian dollar today. We have had limited news over the past, well, really 4 or 5 days because of the bank holiday. We're returning to some liquidity, and the bank holidays have been have ended, and so we're returning to market activity. We do have significant Australian data coming up later this evening, Eastern US time later in the evening. Could be early in the morning for you, depending on where you are, but we have Australian news coming up later this evening, so a lot of things could play into this. US dollar challenging resistance. Right now, if the US dollar breaks higher, we could see this continue to go down. If US dollar suddenly falls off of its resistance, we could see this turn around and go right back up. So a very interesting juncture for the Australian dollar right here at the blue zone. So we're looking for one of two things. Taking it down to the 4-hour time frame, we're looking at one of two things that's going to happen here. At the blue zone, at the significant decision area, by the way, look at the support back here. One of two things is going to happen. Either we're going to see a sudden infusion of buyers and it's going to turn around and start going back up again, or we're going to see it finally get underneath this blue zone and all of those indications of support that we've already talked about and continue to go lower. So that's really the setup for the day today. Either it bounces, we get indications of infusions of buy orders back above 71.20 and it starts going back up, or it finally breaks back through this blue shaded area and starts going lower again for the Australian dollar today.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.